It certainly is. Thanks very much to Brian Greenfield. Now, first action, the Dunlop Aprilia Superteens down to the grid, and Steve.
It's Aprilia Dunlop Superteen time, and look who's on pole. Wayne Ryan, remember him from the last round, qualified 16th, came up to 3rd. Fantastic racing from him. Second on the grid here, Andy Reid, championship leader. He'll be looking for a good result. Newcomer Aaron Clemson, 3rd. Great for him. And also 414, Matt Davies. We had a word with him a little earlier on. Let's see what he had to say. Matt, you've come all the way over from Australia and you got your first ever win yesterday here at Pembrey. How are you finding life in England?
It's good. It's just getting used to the weather, I guess. That's about it.
And as far as the bike's concerned, do you enjoy riding it, and what are your expectations for the season?
The bike's good. I want to get in the top 5 this year and then hopefully get onto a GP3 next year.
And everyone's comparing you to Casey Stoner. How do you feel about that?
I can only wish I was as good as Casey Stoner, hopefully.
And anyone to thank?
I'd just like to thank Ian Amara, Dave and Bernadette and everybody else for helping me.
Well done, Skippy. Already picked up his first ever Super Team win yesterday, along with the resurgent Wayne Ryan. There they are on the grid, and we'll just run you through the championship standings up until this meeting at Pembrey. Andy Reid with that championship lead, as Steve said, from Connor Tagg and Lee Jackson. Danny Murphy, an excellent 4th for the newcomer. Wayne Ryan 5th, Aaron Clipson 6th. Now, because of a very wet qualifying session, Lee Jackson and Connor Tagg both caught out. They're starting way back down the grid, much further back than you'd expect to see them. So expect a couple of burns from the stern at least, as away they go. And Wayne Ryan, who really looks on it down here in Wales, gets away into Hatchett's the hairpin for the first time, with Andy Reid tracking him. Been a brilliant weekend so far for Wayne, Steve. He really does look as though the season really begins here for him.
Yeah, he's only just turned 13, and what a birthday present. He had a bit of a suspect start to the season, and it looks like he's starting to put everything together, and he's having a great weekend.
Yeah, looks very assured indeed. The other thing that's come as a slight surprise, I think, is Andy Reid, who's been something of a runaway rider at the front of things so far, and obviously leading the championship on points, hasn't looked quite on his game here at Pembrey this weekend yet.
No, Andy's struggled a little bit compared to other race meetings so far, but I mean, obviously, he's a very versatile young man, and I'm sure he'll be back to his best at Alton Park. However, having said that, he's still at the sharp end, and we'll have to see how he gets on.
Well, he's just looks as though he's going to be done out of 2nd place there. It's Matt Davis, the young Australian's got alongside him, run round the outside. So Matt Davis up into 2nd, Andy Reid demoted to 3rd. Seen some other great performances, of course, already, and they're threatening in this one. Look at Ben Gautry, he's up there, number 25, Danny Murphy, number 23, and Nick Anderson, number 47. Not his first season in the Superteens, but Nick really seems to have got it all together this weekend. I know he's being helped out by the Sheltons. I think Adam the Stinger Shelton, his dad John, have been down here helping out this weekend, and Nick's been rewarding them with some great performances. But still, Wayne Ryan leads, Steve.
Yeah, some great riding there from Wayne, although Matt Davies looks like he really wants to get in and on the action there. So we've just got pictures there, 111, another good ride from him. He's really starting to improve his riding.
And look there at the back of the pack, Familiar Leathers, just a quick shot there of number 31. That's Greg James. Greg and his brother Scott, both from South Wales, and they have been lent leathers by Paul at Kickstart Motors of Port Talbot. You'll see Greg, we just saw him there, in James Tosland's leathers. They are in fact James's leathers, they're signed on the back, and Scott, his younger brother, who's riding number 13, is actually out in a set of Danny Pedrosa leathers. I'll tell you what, Scott has not yet grown as tall as he's going to, so Danny Pedrosa must be just a little bit on the short side, I'd say.
Yeah, I think he's about 4'6", but if they can get any rides like James Tosland and Danny Pedrosa, you'll see something pretty special. Little Scott is really improving after last season. He obviously had that terrible accident here last season, Robin.
Yeah, I think it's very brave of him actually to get back on. I know he was a bit nervous coming back here to Pembrey, and there we see Jamie Tosland's leathers there with Greg James. Well, he's on the back of that leading bunch, and he'll be pleased with that. He's turned in some good times. In fact, he was 2nd quickest in the warm-up this morning. But at the moment, well, there we see, yes, I keep wanting to say James Tosland, but there we see Greg James chasing hard, and up the front still Wayne Ryan, but red flags being shown. That race has been stopped, and that's because Marcus Tatchell is down there on the, I think that's the outside of Honda.
Well, as you can see, that race was stopped due to an incident on circuit, but we're back on circuit and ready for the restart.
Well, yes indeed, Marcus is hoping to be back out in the second race. Good news as far as he's concerned, but away they go once again. Wayne Ryan, having done all the work first time round, well, he does it again. Another excellent start, Steve.
He's very, very good off the line. If you remember at Cadwell, obviously terrible qualifying, 16th on the grid, and he managed to push all the way through and got up with the sharp pointy end of the grid, as it were. But yeah, brilliant stuff from Wayne, and he's got to do it all again now.
Now, Andy Reid looking much more confident away this time. He's up into second place, chasing hard after Wayne. And he then saw Matt Davis tucked in behind him. But look, Andy still very much in touch with Wayne, and Nick Anderson just ducking down the inside there, just forcing Matt Davis a little wide. Nick Anderson on the number 47 machine, once again having an excellent weekend so far.
Yeah, Nick's really putting everything together now. He seems to be a complete rider all of a sudden. See Ben Gautry there is mixing up. He's just gone past Nick, and also look out for Danny Murphy. He seems to be flying through all the pack there as well.
Yeah, Danny Murphy, one of the newcomers to the series this season, and well, I tell you what, he's turned in a time, we'll check it by the end, but he could well end up with fastest lap of the race. He's certainly so far the fastest rider out there is little Danny Murphy, number 23.
Yeah, he's obviously the newcomer with that orange bib on, and he actually got the lap record at Mallory Park as well, I believe.
Yeah, he certainly can turn in the times. He's not a one-hit wonder either, that's why he's up there leading the Nitro newcomer points. But Wayne Ryan down towards us. Maybe it's the change of colour. He had sort of pinky purple wheels last year, but these green wheels seem to be carrying along fine. But Andy Reid looking very much better in second this time.
Yeah, and he's putting the chase on young Wayne. It's good to see Wayne up there though, after, as I said, the indifferent start to the season and terrible bad luck at Mallory Park. And it'll be good for him. He's a real talent, and I really think he could contend for the championship if puts all these results together.
Well, further back in the pack, Connor Tagg and Python Lee Jackson, they were right at the top of the championship coming into this weekend. They got caught out by the terrible weather that came through about a third of the way through qualifying, and they're gradually working their way up. They've got into the top 20, and they're now into the teens, so they could get some decent points before the end of this race.
Yeah, up the front, Matt Davies is making some good progress again. He's having to make up all that work he put in the first part of this race, Robin, and he's proving, I mean, considering he'd never seen the circuit before, he's proven to be quite a handful.
And Scott Pitcher's there, one of the real improvers this year, being chased hard by 94 Jamie Thackeray, and there's 31 Jamie Toes Leathers with Greg James on board, tucked in behind him. We're expecting to see Scott in the top 10 every race, aren't we, Steve?
Yeah, absolutely. It would be, it's, you know, since Cadwell Park, he's really improved. Bearing in mind he was in the Nitro Newcomers race at the first round this season. Dramatic improvement, and I think you'll see a lot more of him.
Well, look at this. Matt Davis lining up. Championship leader Andy Reid and Ben Gautry, number 25, trying to go with him. There we see that battle, Scott Pitcher's Jamie Thackeray. There's Connor Tagg. Now, I think it was 26th or 27th on the grid that he started, and Connor is rapidly approaching a top 10 finish. Fantastic ride by him, I have to say. Lee Jackson is right up there with him as well. So these two showing that although they qualified poorly this weekend, they are still championship contenders.
Yeah, they're just chasing the back of Phil Canessa at the moment, number 29. I think we just saw a shot of him.
That's Jamie Thackeray. Oh, Jamie. Oh, and goodness me, they're coming at us from every which way. Looks like Sam Cox. And they are flying off here. Well, that is a great shame for Jamie Thackeray. He was involved in that wonderful chase, getting after Scott Pitchers. Obviously, all come unglued. Sam Cox ditto, but glad to see him get up after that as the leaders. I'll tell you what, they're all closing up there, Steve. And red flags again. Well, great shame. But, you know, it's quite rare, isn't it, to get red flags in the Superteens, but to get to two, one running a race, what a shame. But a good win in the end for Wayne Ryan from Matt Davis. Ben Gautry third, Danny Murphy fourth, Andy Reid fifth, and Nick Anderson in sixth place. And there is a 1, 2, 3 and a very happy Wayne Ryan, the winner in the middle.